Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Officer Lavi, Most High in Christ bless. For today's class is going to be facing your fears in the hardest time. Facing our fears in the hardest times. All right, so for today's class, for my reader, I have
Soldier Matthew.
Soldier Matthew came through in the clutch for us. But we're going to open up with a video clip. Think about this. What are some things that you are fearful of? If you had to answer that question sincerely and honestly, what are some things that you are fearful of? I came across a video of things that people are fearful of, things that I've been fearful of in my life. And we think about it, you know, like, dang, I'm scared of spiders, or I'm scared of snakes, or I'm scared of a lion, you know, things that we fearful of. But if we dig a little deeper, what's some internal fears that we have? Oh man, I'm scared of, you know, public speaking. I'm scared of rejection, or I'm scared of, you know, having a loss of a loved one. So let's get into it. Things that we are fearful of and how to face our fears in the hardest of time. And we're going to get into it. All the nooks and crannies. We're going to scrape all the butter off the pan and sop it up good. So let's go ahead and get ready. So this is a video clip of, they asked 100 people, what are your biggest fears? So I can preface it. Go ahead.
What are you most afraid of? God, I don't know.
What are you most afraid of?
What am I afraid of? It's a hard question.
I'm afraid of the bottom yogurt. I'm scared of bees. I'm scared of stepping on slugs.
Thunder and lightning.
Really distant outer space.
Needles.
Getting shot.
Cats.
Adult sloths creep me out.
Donald Trump not being impeached.
Are we talking about like an object, or are we talking about anything? Oh, well, I don't like failing at anything.
Probably failure.
Disappointing my mom.
Failure?
Not being successful.
Sucking at life.
Not being successful?
Everyone's afraid to fail. Not being happy.
Being stagnant.
Being mediocre.
Being boring.
No one finding me interesting.
Being embarrassed.
Fear of rejection for sure.
Disappointing people. Myself.
People talking behind my
Stop.
back.
Myself. Some folks say I'm fearful. I'm scared of myself. I don't know what I would do in certain situations. I'm scared. I don't know. I'm fearful of myself. Ask yourself, as we watching this clip, we playing the clip and they asking the questions, what are you fearful of? Stop right now, pause and think about it. What are you really fearful of? Some folks may be like, man, I'm scared, you know, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that. I'm scared of a lot of different things. I'm fearful of my wife cheating on me. I'm fearful if I lose my job. I'm fearful if I lose a loved one. Pause and think and ask yourself, what are you really fearful of? Play on.
Afraid of getting bullied.
I think the biggest thing I'm afraid of is letting my OCD get to me.
Forgetting, because that is how one loses sight of one's divinity.
When I try to think about infinity, it actually causes a certain reaction inside. Like I get short of breath.
New things are pretty scary, but also being homeless.
Being poor.
And having nowhere
Being
to live.
poor.
What else? What's the thing you're most afraid of?
Losing my family. Especially my little brother. I have nightmares about that. Don't ever leave me, bro. I love you.
My grandpa and grandma dying at the same time.
What am I afraid of?
Lost of a loved one.
Losing my family.
Losing someone that I love.
What are you most afraid of?
Other than commitment.
Stop right there. We're going to dive in on the thing. We're going to pick up back here at 146. We're going to pick up back here. Because she finna go into some folks, she said, fear of commitment. Some brothers and sisters, fear of getting married. Fear of commitment. Fear of having a life partner. What if this happened? What if that happened? So let's deal with the first few topics they talked about. I got a list of what they said. I watched the video myself and analyzed it myself, you know. This is going to be a good class that's going to say be good to watch after another class I did called Stress, Worry, and Anxiety. Topic of dealing with stress, what you're stressing over, worry, and anxiety. All that deals with fear. If you go back, you will find a class Officer Obadiah did, dealing with fear. It's a spirit of fear. All right, so it's a multitude of different things that we fearful of. External fears and we have internal fears. External fears meaning like I'm scared of a bug. What you scared of? You scared of snakes? You scared of bugs? This big brother over here, strong brother, scared of bugs. All praises. But hey, some folks scared of bugs, scared of mice, scared of, well, you know, things like that. External fears, I say. Then you have internal fears. Fear of failure, fear of death, loss of loved ones, fear of rejection, these type of things. All right, so let's deal with the fear of death and losing a close loved one. Go to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 40. Ecclesiasticus chapter 40 and verse 1. Fear of death. I used to be scared of that when I was young. When I was a little kid growing up and I'm learning about, hey, what happened to such and such? And you learning about, you know, death. People die. Yeah, it's part of life. And you like, I don't want to die. And then you learn, well, everybody got to die, right? You learn that. You get fearful of death. Some folks scared of how they may pass away. Read Sirach 40 and 1. Let's get into it.
Sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 40 and verse 1. Great travail is created for every man.
Fear of being a failure, one of them said. Fear of not succeeding. Same thing. Go ahead. And it say great travail, meaning great tribulation, is created for every man. Meaning we going to go through things. Go ahead.
And an heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam.
And a heavy yoke upon the sons of Adam. So everybody in the world is being covered right now. All mankind, all races are being covered. We will go through things. Go ahead.
From the day that they go out of their mother's womb till the day that they return to the mother of all things.
From the time we born to the time we die. The mother of all things, when we die, we go our bodies back to the earth. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We're going to read the verse 8. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Verse 2. Their imagination of things to come and the day of death trouble their thoughts.
Fear of death. We're reading about it in the Bible. Sirach is letting us know, explaining how the mental work of man, how our brain works, what things that we think on, we are fearful of. Go ahead. Read it again.
Yes, sir. Their imagination of things to come and the day of death trouble their thoughts.
Trouble our thoughts.
And cause fear of heart.
And cause fear of heart. The things that we think about. Life things that we think about. Internal things that we contemplate on. Read.
From him that sitteth on a throne of glory.
So who deal with these thoughts? We finna cover what type of person deal with these thoughts. It says from who? From him that what?
From him that sitteth on a throne of glory. Unto him that is humbled in the earth and ashes.
That's from the top man on the earth to the bottom, from the richest to the poorest, from the most famous to the least famous. Everybody gonna deal with these type of thoughts, these type of things that we deal with and are fearful of. Go ahead.
From him that weareth purple and a crown. Unto him that is clothed with a linen flock.
Purple means something like royalty, so it's covering the richest to the poorest, the most famous to the least. Go ahead.
Wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness, fear of death.
Fear of what?
Fear of death.
We just seen it in the video. They asked 100 people, what are you most fearful of? A lot of folks said fear of death, fear of losing a loved one, fear of, read it again, verse 5.
Wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness, fear of death and anger and strife, and in the time of rest upon his bed, his night sleep, do change his knowledge.
When we lay on our bed and we have those deep, real life type of thinking patterns, those deep thoughts, and a lot of times we want to be distracted. So we on TikTok, we on Instagram, we laying down and it lights off, but that phone lit up, it's glowing, and we try to keep our minds distracted. But when we lay down and get some type of little spare second to ourselves, when we have a thought of, dang, you know, I did lose a loved one. I'm thinking about what's going to happen on the, you know, if I die one day, or when I die one day, or if I get sick. These real life thoughts hit us. Read.
A little or nothing is his rest.
Take away rest. Read.
And afterward he is in his sleep, as in a day of keeping watch, troubled in the vision of his heart.
Troubled in his thinking, troubled in the vision, his mind of his heart, his vision of his heart. Read.
As if he were escaped out of a battle.
Going into dreams. Read.
When all is safe, he awaketh, and marveleth that the fear was nothing.
He wake up like, oh man, I was thinking about this, I was thinking about that. And I'm like, I'm glad it was just a dream. I'm glad it really ain't nothing. That go with Job. I ain't got it wrote down. Hang on. That go with Job 33. Let's precept that with Job 33. Marveleth in fear that it was nothing. Read Job 33 and 14. Then we're going to go back. Go ahead.
Job chapter 33 and verse 14. For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not.
So God speaks to us, but sometimes we don't perceive it. How is that happening? How is God speaking to us? Read.
In a dream.
In a what?
In a dream.
Read. Now, this ain't for everybody who have dreams and say, oh, I had this dream and this going to happen. Like, I'm worried about it. Ain't like that. You mess around and say, yeah, God speak to folks in a dream. Now everybody have a damn dream. They want to come tell you their dream. Right. Don't just run with it. Read.
In a vision of the night.
Go ahead.
When deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering upon the bed. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction.
And do what?
And sealeth their instruction.
Read.
That he may withdraw men from his purpose, and hide pride from man.
That's what is going on a lot of times. Read. Nope. That he openeth the ears of men, verse 16, and sealeth their instructions. A lot of times you think you're going to do one thing one day, but nope, you end up doing something totally different. You think something going to work out one way, but it end up working out totally different. That's because the Lord is directing our paths. He's leading us to where he wants us to go, fulfilling his will. Go back to Sirach to finish that out. Going along with what we just read, the things that we think about, the things that we contemplate on in our sleep, the real life things of fear of death. What's going to happen in my life? Will I be rejected? Will I be successful? Will I be a failure? Things that internally we deal with in battle. Will I be will I be a good spouse one day? Will I be a good father one day? A good mother one day? A good parent one day? Things that we fear. Will I be poor one day? Read.
Sirach chapter 40 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
When all is safe, he awaketh, and marveleth that their fear was nothing.
So he was troubled in his dreams thinking on these things. Go ahead.
Such things happen unto all flesh.
All flesh. Read.
Both man and beast.
So beasts even have dreams. Somebody say like, do dogs have dreams? Yes, certain animals have dreams. They even got scientific studies on it. They'll have a dog laying down, and then he'll mess around, his feet be going. He chasing a squirrel or something in the dream. He trying to get that thing. Read.
And that is sevenfold more upon sinners.
And those type of thoughts, those type of contemplations is sevenfold more upon sinners. Why? Because they in sin. They got to worry about what's going to happen. I committed a crime, or I slept with this person's spouse, or I did this. Is it going to come back on me? I'm worried about something called revenge, or what they call in the world karma. I'm worried about that because it's going to come full circle. So it's sevenfold more upon sinners. Brother be messing around, go to sleep thinking everything all good. He knowing he messed around and slept with somebody's wife. He thinking everything all good. He say, you know what, damn, that nigga is crazy. So he thinking about it, damn. He sleep though. That nigga is crazy. He get in trouble in his thoughts because he in sin. He get in trouble in his thoughts thinking about, damn, could I die? Did I catch? Can I catch something? Maybe he say, well, that dude, he weak. He ain't gonna do nothing to me. Well, what if I catch something? What if this girl, she say she love me, but what if she sleeping with somebody else and I catch something? These type of things is sevenfold more upon sinners. Oh, I stole something from the job. Is they gonna find out? I was hungry though. I had to get it for my kids. I stole something. I stole some extra food, or I stole some extra money. When I go to sleep at night, I'm contemplating these things. It's sevenfold more upon sinners. The righteous have these type of thoughts. But the righteous have hope in the Lord, knowing that once we pass away, if the time comes for us to go, where we will be, where our soul will be. All right? Go to touch on the dreams. Go to Sirach now, Ecclesiasticus 34, verse 1. Because I did say the Lord, seal your instructions, as we read in Job, in a dream. And I was like, folks end up having dreams now. Want to come, thinking everything, hey, I had a dream, this is going to happen. Let's listen to this other scripture to get it in perspective. 34 verse 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 34 and verse 1.
Come on.
The hopes of a man, void of understanding, are vain and false.
Void of understanding or vain and false. And what else?
And dreams lift up fools.
Some dreams lift up fools. Oh, I had this dream and that's going to happen in this. And I just know it's real. Man, listen, you're going to be found to be a fool. Don't take that dream to heart. Whatever going to come to pass, the Lord will let it come to pass. But don't be saying this and saying that. You're going to end up looking like a fool. Read.
Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow.
It's hard. Can you catch a shadow? It's very hard to catch a shadow. Really, you can't do it. I'm talking about catching like I'm going to catch it. You ain't catching no shadow. You see your shadow, you turn around and try to catch it, it's moved. Oh, you try to catch it. The Bible is saying it's like you're trying to catch a shadow. You ain't finna just pinpoint what that dream means. Everything is for the Lord to seal his instructions for you. Read.
And followeth after the wind. The vision of dreams.
All right, that's it. I ain't finna get into dreams. All right, let's stop it right there. We're dealing with the things that we contemplate on a daily as far as real life internal fears. All right, so from there, we done with verse 8, right? Go to Sirach 41 and verse 1. Because it talked about the fear of death. The fear of death. All right, so Lord's will, we can touch on some things and edification can go out. Go ahead, it's 41 and verse 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 41 and verse 1.
Come on.
O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth it at rest in his possessions. Unto the man that hath nothing to vex him, and that hath prosperity in all things. Yea, unto him that is yet able to receive meat.
Read.
O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy.
So we're talking about death, because a lot of people said fear of death, fear of loss of a loved one. So we touching on it right now. Go ahead.
And unto him whose strength faileth, that is
say verse 2, O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy. So it's saying acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy. What does that mean? Continue reading.
And that unto him.
And unto him whose strength faileth, read.
That is now in the last age.
Someone is getting older, weaker. They know, hey, it's going to come a time I'm going to pass away. Death will come to me. And that's going to be acceptable then versus living a hard life of struggle. Some people say, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to live a life of pain. I just want to go peacefully. That's what that's going into, talking about. Read.
And is vexed with all things to him that despaireth and have lost patience.
Read verse 3.
Fear not the sentence of death.
So the God of this Bible, through Sirach, is telling us, fear not the sentence of death. It's going to happen. A lot of folks are fearful of that day of, passing away. But death is not what we think, and we're going to get into it. Bishop been going over it, bringing out classes. Death is it's a transition from one doorway until the next for the righteous. For the wicked, it's a difference. It's a big difference. Read.
Remember them that have been before thee and that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh.
So there ain't nothing to be fearful of, because that's the sentence of the Lord over all flesh. Meaning we all gonna die one day. But in these last days, some will see the return of Christ. We're gonna touch on that. All right. Hebrews 9:27. Hebrews 9:27.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 27.
Come on.
And as it is appointed unto men once to die.
What?
Once to die.
Read.
But after this, the judgment.
That's what's going to happen. We all will have to die. We all will face that day of death. Once to die, but after this, the judgment. We will be giving a judgment on the life that we lived. We have to give an account on what we did with our time on this earth. John 21 and 20. In these last days, some will see the return of Christ, like I said before. So it might be like, dang, how is that? How is that? What's going to happen? Like, some of us not going to die. Some of us won't die. If Christ come back and you still alive and you be translated, you won't see that death that we talking about now. You die and, you just be, go through the death of sickness, disease. You get killed, we get put to death, somebody, you know, death. Some of us won't see that. Some of us will. A lot of us will. John 21 and 20.
The book of John, chapter 21 and verse 20.
About to touch on it right now. Man, what you talking about? What you mean some of us not going to die? Let's get into it. John 21 and 20.
John chapter 21 and verse 20. Then Peter, turning about, seeth the disciple whom Jesus loved, following.
Talking about John. Read.
Which also leaned on his breast at supper, and said, Lord, which is he that betrayeth thee? Peter, seeing him, said to Jesus, Lord, and what shall this man do?
Read.
Jesus said unto him, If I will that he tarry till I come.
What shall this man do? Is talking about the disciple that was leaning on Jesus' breast, talking about John. He was close to Christ. He was always in close proximity to Christ. And they asked him a question. Peter, seeing him in verse 21, Peter, seeing him, said to Jesus, he said, Lord, and what shall this man do? What's going to happen with this disciple that you love? Talking about John. Read. Verse 22.
Yes, sir. Verse 22. Jesus said unto him, If I will that he tarry till I come.
So Christ's reply was, if I will that he tarry, that he stay alive, that he be here until I return.
What is that to thee?
What is that to you? That's dealing with him. So what are you asking about that? Read.
Follow thou me.
What I want you to do, Peter, is follow thou me. Follow me. Read.
Then went this saying abroad among the brethren, that disciple should not die. Yet Jesus said not unto him, he shall not die.
So he ain't saying he not gonna die. Read.
But if I will that he tarry till I come, what is it to thee?
But if I will that I tarry till he come, what is that to you? That's what I said. Read. Verse 24.
This is the disciple which testifieth of these things, and wrote these things. And we know that his testimony is true.
Talking about John. All right. So Matthew 16:28. Matthew 16:28. We're going to see what Christ said as well. Because that was an example of saying what Christ said. If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. That's what he told Peter. If I will that he tarry till I come and he stick around till I return, what is that to you? Matthew 16:28.
Matthew chapter 16 and verse 28.
Some of us will see the return of Christ, meaning we're not going to die, because we're going to see the return of Christ. We'll just be translated into that new body. Like I say, changed in the twinkling of an eye in 1 Corinthians. Read that.
Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here, which shall not taste of death, till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
You see that? So some not going to taste of death. Meaning, what do he mean right there? He's talking about regenerations. We all going to be appointed to die at least once. But when we come back in this last time, in this last day before Christ returns, some not going to die. They're going to see his return. Read it again.
Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here, which shall not taste of death, till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
I can understand a Christian right now, like, what the hell is he talking about? What in the world is he talking about? Not gonna die. So I already said you got to understand regeneration to understand that. Get Revelation 10 and 11 for a precept. Revelation 10 and 11. We went over it plenty of times. I'm not about to go into it too much on this. Revelation 10 and 11.
Yes, sir. The book of Revelations, chapter 10 and verse 11.
Come on.
And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again.
What?
Thou must prophesy again.
So how is John, the Revelator, going to prophesy again? Read.
Before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings.
So when you understand the history, he died. He died. But he said you're going to prophesy again, meaning what? Christ was letting them know his spirit will return. His spirit will be back. His spirit would be back in these last days. All right? Now, certain spirits going to be alive and won't taste of death, like I said in Matthew 16:28, until he come back. Now, losing loved ones is something that is going to happen. Dealing with that fear. You got a brother or a sister or a near kinsman that you know you really love, y'all close. You wondering like, damn, I would hate to lose this person. We're going to touch on that. John 11:14. John 11:14. We're going to do a little bit of reading. How is it dealing with the loss of a loved one? Because there was a fear, facing our fears in the hardest of times. Because things going to get worse. In this truth, we got brothers and sisters that we grow close to. We develop a friendship with. Like this brother next to me. I always give him a hard time. But I love the brother. I want to see the brother be the best version of himself. I hope he want to see me be the best version of myself. And we have relationships that we develop. And in these hard times that's finna come, in these perilous times, we're going to lose brothers. We're going to lose sisters. Hell, we already lost brothers and sisters. We have members in our congregation that passed away. They was elderly. They may have got sick. They passed away. Some about middle age. They passed away. And like, damn, you know, I hate to see that brother go. We had a brother here who passed away. He did great woodwork. He was a carpenter. Build anything. And you hate to see a brother go. So how do we deal with the loss of a loved one? Read that. John 11:14 through 45.
The book of John, chapter 11 and verse 14.
We're going to do a little bit of reading, so read on through.
Yes, sir. Then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead.
So Jesus, Christ, talking about Lazarus, the death of Lazarus. How did Christ respond to the death of Lazarus? Go ahead.
And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him.
Read.
Then said Thomas, which is called
Didymus,
unto his fellow disciples. Let us also go, that we may die with him.
Read.
Then when Jesus came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 14 furlongs off.
All right, say about 15 furlongs off. Go ahead.
About 15 furlongs off. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother.
So Martha and Mary lost a loved one, lost their brother Lazarus. Lazarus, Martha, and Mary followed Christ. Read, but Lazarus died. Read.
Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary sat still in the house.
So Martha went and met him, but Mary, she just sat still. Go ahead.
Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been there, been here, my brethren had not died.
So dealing with the loss of a loved one. Read.
But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask.
I want to pay attention to this part. How she dealing with understanding death. Let's pay attention to this part. Read it again.
But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee.
Read.
Jesus said unto her, thy brother shall rise again.
So she understanding and believing on Christ. So how was her mindset towards losing a loved one? Let's see what the reply is. Read verse 23 again, and then 24.
Yes, sir. Jesus saith unto her, thy brother shall rise again.
So let's see what Martha say.
Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day.
So Martha understood something about death. She would see her brother again because there was walking in righteousness, keeping the commandments, believing on Christ, the Messiah. So she understood, yeah, I lost my brother. I loved him as a close loved one, but I will see him again. So was she really fearing to lose a loved one? Did she have an understanding of how this works? Read.
Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, shall he live.
So Christ is dropping something heavy on her. Christ is letting her know, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. How is that? That sounds like he dead, but he gonna live. Oh, he gonna live again in the kingdom. Martha understood that she would see him again. Read.
And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die.
Shall what?
Shall never die.
So Christ is letting her know what it is about death. He's physically dead. He's gone. His spirit is gone out of that body. Lazarus is dead. He's gone. Christ is letting her know death ain't really death. That's just something that's just for now, for temporary. Read.
Believest thou this?
Do you believest thou this? He asked her, believest thou this? Question mark right there. Read.
She saith unto him, Yea, Lord.
Yea, Lord. Yes, Lord, I believe. This is where her faith is. This is how she's handling this. This is how her response is towards losing her loved one. Read. Believing in Christ, believing on the Messiah and what he says. That's her comfort. She will see him again. Read.
I believe that thou art the Christ, the Son of God, which shall come into the world.
Come on.
And when she had said, she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, The Master is come, and calleth for thee. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him.
Come on.
Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha met him.
Read.
The Jews then, which were with her in the house, and comforted her, when they saw Mary, that she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She goeth unto the grave to weep there.
So she went to the grave to weep for her brother. It's a thing of grief. You weep for the loss of a loved one. It's okay to do that. You weep, you cry. You know, brothers want to be hard, not cry. But hey, man, brother died. You love that brother. It's all right to drop a tear. It's all right to show that, you know, compassion, that real love for your brother. Like, damn, I'm going to see him again. And then that be that. All right. Let's jump to, for the sake of time, 34.
Yes, sir.
34 and read on down.
Yes, sir. Verse 34. And said, Where have ye laid him?
So they're looking for the body. Where have you laid him?
They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept.
Jesus what?
Jesus wept.
Jesus cried too. Christ, he wept over Lazarus. It's all right to do that. This is how you deal with the loss of a loved one. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Read.
Then said the Jews, Behold how he loved him.
How he what?
How he loved him.
Christ loved Lazarus. Read.
And some of them said, Could not this man, which openeth the eyes of the blind, have caused that even this man should not have died?
So here come a Negro talking ish. They said, some of them said, could not this man, which opened the eyes of the blind, he did many miracles, but he let him die? What is this? A nigger. A Negro here come being so negative, just bringing up some negativity, like, hey, why he let him die? He opened the man's eyes, performing miracles, but he let this brother die. Can't do nothing good for black folks. Read.
Jesus, therefore, again, groaning in himself, coming to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it.
So the grave was cut out. It was a cave grave. Read.
Jesus said, Take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh.
Read.
For he hath been dead 4 days.
Read.
Jesus saith unto her, Said I not unto thee, that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God?
So Christ had to remind her what he said in verse 25. I'm going to read 25 real quick. I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Martha was thinking about seeing him again in the kingdom. Like, because verse 24 says, Martha saith unto him, I knoweth that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Right? Christ, bring it up to even more. This is going to happen now. I'm going to bring him back now. Read it again where you was at. Where you was at in verse
40.
Verse 40.
Jesus saith unto her, Said I not unto thee, that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God?
Read.
Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid.
Come on.
And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I know that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it.
Come on.
That they may believe that thou hast sent me.
Read.
And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice,
Read.
Lazarus, come forth.
There you go. Bring it out, bro. Read it again.
And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth.
Lazarus, come forth. Read.
And he said, and he that was dead come forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes.
Read.
And his face was bound about with a napkin.
So he was wrapped up. Read.
Jesus said unto them, loose him and let him go.
Read.
Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him.
So they believed on Christ after he brought Lazarus back from the dead. All right. So from there, let's jump. Let's jump. Sirach 38, 16 through 21. So dealing with the grief, like we just read about, Jesus wept. A lot of Christians like to just pull that scripture. Oh, Jesus wept. Jesus wept. But he really had love for Lazarus, and he did weep for Lazarus. All right. Sirach 38, Ecclesiasticus 38, 16 through 21. So how long should we mourn or weep? Read that.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 16.
Dealing with fear in the hardest of times. Read that.
My son, let tears fall down over the dead and begin to lament as if thou hadst suffered great harm thyself.
Because a lot of times we fear death, us ourselves dying or losing a loved one. Now we're reading passages on how to deal with that, right? Read how our foremothers and forefathers, Christ dealt with that. Read.
And then cover his body according to the custom.
So it say, my son, let tears fall down over the dead, because Christ, he wept. Martha and Mary, they wept. Read. It say, I'm sorry, I'm going to read it. My son, let tears fall down over the dead and began to lament as if thou hast suffered great harm thyself. And then cover his body according to the custom and neglect not his burial. 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 A lot of folks say, can we get cremated? The Bible say burial. Read verse 17.
Yes, sir. Weep bitterly and make great moan and use lamentations as he is worthy.
As he is worthy. Lazarus, you know, if Christ weeping over him, you know Lazarus was worthy of that. He wasn't no wicked Negro selling dope, committing adultery. Then he died. I'll say he was a good man. He had a good heart. He was wicked as hell. He lived like a dog. He died like a dog. Right. I know it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. As he is worthy. We got to get out that Christian mindset. He was a dope dealer. She was a prostitute. She was a hoe. She had kids with 5 different baby daddies. She never got her life right. And she was ratchet. She was trifling. She had a good heart, though. You're just trying to find good words to say. I know that's hard to hear right now, but it's Bible. Let's be real. This is Bible. We got to live a righteous life. Read.
And that a day or two.
Weep for him as he is worthy. As a day or two. A day or two. Read.
Lest thou be evil spoken of.
Because if you cry longer than that, if you weep longer than that, if you mourn longer than that, week after week, month after month, you will be evil spoken of. People gonna look at you like, hey, they gone. You gotta let that go. You gotta move on. They gone. Read.
And then comfort thyself for thy heaviness. For the heaviness cometh death, and the heaviness of the heart breaketh strength.
All right, that's it right there. So you end up crying and weeping so long, you will break your own strength. You will end up being in the worst case. From there, go to Matthew 10:27. We ourselves may have to face a hard death. Being in this truth, being a prophet, we got to face a hard death. We may have to face a hard death. A lot of us will. All right, let me read what I got wrote down right here. We ourselves may have to face a hard death. Our Lord tells us not to be afraid of that. Dealing with, because the video said 100 people tell what their deepest fears are or their fears are, right? So we ourselves got to have some understanding. Damn, if out of 100 people, 100 of them saying they fear death, we know I might die one day. I can't fear that. We may die a certain way. We can't fear that. Read that.
Yes, sir.
Persecution of the apostles then and today. We finna touch on it. Read that. Matthew 10:27 through 33.
Yes, sir. The book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 27. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light.
Go ahead.
and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops.
So go out and preach and teach. Go out and preach and teach. Y'all get that clip that's ready. I mean, about the book with the pictures I got of the book. Go ahead.
And fear not them which kill the body.
Fear not them which kill the body. Read.
But are not able to kill the soul.
Why? Why? We know this on plenty of classes because the verse above. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light. And what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops, which kill the body. Why is he talking about death in verse 28? Because in verse 27, what we preaching will get us killed. We are preaching the word of God against what already is established. Babylon the Great. We're preaching against Babylon. We're saying we are the chosen people of God. We are the Israelites, not the fake imposters. So when we say that, when we preach that, they're going to say, you know what, we got to stop that. We got to put things in place. And when that don't work, we got to take them out. They're going to do things to take us out. But Christ said in verse 28, read it again.
Yes, sir. Verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul.
Read.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body.
Read a little stronger for me.
Yes, sir. Verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body.
Read.
But are not able to kill the soul.
Come on.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
That's who we fear. Meaning we don't have a fear of like two different fears. A healthy fear of God is good, meaning you respect and reverence what he say. We do what he says. That's that fear towards God. But he's saying, don't fear them that can kill your body, that's not able to kill your soul. Don't fear them. Why? Us in the truth, in this gospel, in today's time, will face persecution. I'm scared of that. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to possibly die. We got to face those real life fears. Deal with them. All right, pull that book up. I want to get a few passages out of that of how the apostles, one apostle in particular, how he faced death, how he dealt with facing that. All right, let's pull it up so they can see it. It says history of the church. All right, this is a book that's going to touch on the death of the apostles. All right. Go to the next picture. All right, I want to go to the bottom paragraph. The bottom paragraph where it says, it appears from well-authenticated history.
It appears from well-authenticated history that when Paul was put to death under Nero, Peter suffered with him by crucifixion with his head downward.
He was crucified upside down. So Christ wasn't the only one that got crucified, nailed to a cross. Peter as well, upside down. Read.
A kind of death which he himself desired.
He desired it. Read.
Most probably from an unfeigned humility, that he might not die in the same manner as his Lord had done.
So he had to face that, hey, I'm finna die. I have to, lose my life for believing on Christ. And what he desired to do was, hey, I can't die the same way he did. Crucify me upside down. Read.
Peter's wife had been called to martyrdom a little before himself.
So he had to watch his wife die before himself. Before he went, she died first. Martyrdom means when you die for what you believe in, a religious death. You believe in something so strongly, you're willing to die for it, and you do die for it. Read it again. Peter's wife?
Yes, sir. Peter's wife had been called to martyrdom a little before himself. He saw her led to death and rejoiced at the grace of God.
Vouchsafed
to her and addressing.
Next page. So he encouraged her, and he said these things we're going to read right now. What did he say?
By her by name.
He said to her by name, and he called her name, and he said this.
And exhorted and comforted her with, remember the Lord.
He said, remember the Lord. He sent his wife in to go get killed before he has to die facing that fear of death, and he told her, remember the Lord. He was fully persuaded in his mind and conquered that fear of death. Didn't worry about dying. Read.
Peter seems to have lived long in a state of matrimony.
My bad.
Matrimony.
Meaning him and his wife.
And by
Clement's account,
was industrious in the education of his children.
So he raised up his kids. He was teaching his children. All right, let's stop right there. That's all I want. I just wanted that part where he had to die. Now pull that clip up that I showed y'all. That little clip that I had wanted to pull about the Gladiator book. Another account, not that one, the one I sent of Elder Ithon when they was going over on the hidden history. That clip. Now we finna read Matthew 10:28 again.
Yes, sir. The book of Matthew, chapter 10.
I want the clip, brothers. It's gonna be a video clip. All right. So y'all can show that picture, then play the clip. Matthew 10:28.
Yes, sir. The book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body.
Come on.
But are not able to kill the soul. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
John 16:1. John 16:1. We will have to face something very real that's going to become a true reality for a lot of us in this walk, in this gospel. And then those who lose a loved one, lose a husband in this gospel, their wife got to know how to handle that, deal with that, continue to press forward, continue to comfort her children, know how to be a comfort to somebody else, to another sister who may have lost her husband. Read.
Sir. The book of John, chapter 16, and verse 1.
Just start at verse 2.
Yes, sir. Verse 2. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God's service.
So they're going to seek to kill us and think they're doing right. Think they're doing God's service. We will have to face a martyrdom death. Some of us will. Not all of us, but some of us will. All right. Show that book, the cover of it. All right, I was watching Hidden History, an old clip of Hidden History, and I came across this. I pulled the clip. Elder Ithon was bringing it out about the gladiators and also the followers of Christ during that time. All right, so History's Most Deadly Sport, The Gladiators, by Fick Major. All right, so if we're finna pull a clip talking about this book, go to the clip. So it ain't long, but I want to catch how this Christian, this follower of Christ, accepted his death. Read that.
Christian writers have left detailed information about these midday executions. Their accounts of the execution of their fellow believers.
Whoa. Christian writers, meaning the apostles, and the apostles of the apostles, and the disciples of the disciples wrote accounts of what?
Christian writers have left detailed information about these midday executions. Their accounts of the execution of their fellow believers.
So these slaves that were thrown in these arenas, guess what they were? They were the disciples of the disciples. They were followers of Christ. These were Jews. These were Jews. That's how you know that there's a black men in these rings. So those were afros. Some of you try to be ignorant, so that's the helmets. There's still Negroes, whether helmets or not, those are black people with helmets on. That's right. And afros underneath.
Was it not part of the persecution?
So he's describing and breaking down an image to where somebody may say, hey, that's not an afro, that's a helmet. He said, hey, it's an afro or a helmet. Them black folks in this topic right here. Play. It ain't gonna be long. Read. Play.
Yes, it was. We're gonna show you. Go ahead, read on.
Believers are very vivid. Christians were condemned to a harrowing and painful death for refusing to worship the emperor as a god.
Go down to read on.
Some even write of their own longing for martyrdom.
Some wanted to die. Some longed for death. Go ahead.
In one of the Roman arenas, One of the most famous of these martyrs is Ignatius. Ignatius of Antioch.
Of Syria. Go ahead.
At the beginning of the 2nd century, he was taken to the Colosseum in Rome to be thrown to wild animals.
Go ahead.
In this letter to the Romans, he describes his feelings about his approaching death and the torments that await him there.
Go ahead.
From Syria to Rome, day and night, on land and sea,
So
I fight wild animals.
this is what the brother, the follower of Christ, is saying to himself as he's on a boat ride from Syria to Rome, day and night, land and sea. All right, this is what he's saying to himself. Play.
Chained as I am to 10 leopards, by which I mean a unit of soldiers.
Damn.
If you are good to them, they get even more vicious. But I suffered their ill treatment. I become even more resolved in my discipleship. But that cannot wipe out my sense of blame. I hope I will enjoy the wild animals that are being kept ready for me. And I pray that
to bring it up to speed so y'all not getting lost, he is going to die in the arena. He's going to die, get put to death by wild animals. This is the time of the gladiators. And this follower of Christ, these Christians, a lot of them was getting thrown in that arena to die because they believed on Christ. Why? They was going against Rome. Christ was speaking, and they was following the Christ teachings, talking about how, you know, Rome will be destroyed. And for them doing that, that was looked at as treason. So that was killing the followers of Christ. This is one account of a brother on his way to be put to death, and this is his mindset. This is what he's saying, and it's being recorded and documented. Play on.
They will set upon me quickly.
Pray they kill me quickly.
He praying the wild animals kill him fast. Play.
Them so that they eat me in the shortest possible time. And so avoid the way it goes with some people when the animals are afraid of them and refuse to touch them.
There were instances, so Peter, I'd rather be killed because it goes worse with those who the animals don't want to eat or don't want to kill. I'd rather them kill me fast. But those who don't get killed by the animals get suffer worse than that. Go ahead.
And if they are unmoved, I will force them. Forgive me. I know what is good for me. Only now I am beginning my discipleship. Do not let any visible or invisible being try to stop me going to Jesus Christ out of jealousy. Fire and crucifixion, packs of wild animals, slashing, tearing, ripping me to pieces, splintering bones, dislocating limbs, crushing my whole body. Let me suffer the worst torments of the devil, so long as I may go to Jesus Christ.
Damn.
That brother right there wasn't playing. He knew he had to die. He knew he had to die. He said, let me suffer the worst torment of the devil so long as I may go to Jesus Christ. He faced that, accepted that, and took that head on. That's a whole different level right there. A whole different level. He wasn't fearful of nothing. All right, so we're going to drop that, the fear of death. All right, so now pull a video clip back up of the very first video. I think.
Object, or are we talking about anything? Oh, well, I don't like failing at anything.
Probably failure.
Disappointing my mom.
Not being successful.
Sucking at life.
Everyone's afraid to fail.
Not being happy.
Being stagnant. Being mediocre.
That's it.
Boring.
No one.
That's it. That was right on the money. Being a failure. Being forgotten. I know in this truth, I don't want to be a failure. I don't believe nobody in this body, in this truth, want to be a failure. Not putting forth any works. I hope not. That's a lot of fear of brothers and sisters. They come into this body and they be like, well, you know, they just mediocre. But I don't want to be mediocre. I want to be, you know, I want to be put my best foot forward. How can we do that? Some brothers, you know, they want to put in the work. They want to do this. They want to do that. But something is holding them back. Let's overcome whatever that is. All right? No one is going to forget Christ the Messiah. Why? Because look at all the works he did. Nobody, I mean, he's still being talked about today. Who else being talked about today? King David being talked about today. Jeremiah, the apostles, especially Paul. Everybody know the apostle Paul. Even if they know him by the wrong ethnicity, they think he white. They know of his works. They know what he did. All right, so let's start at Sirach 41:13. Paul is a black man, was a black man from the tribe of Benjamin. If anybody out there wondering, in case a Christian just tuning in for the first time, the apostle Paul was a black man from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, shout out to Benjamin. Sirach 41:13.
Yes, sir.
So fear of being forgotten, fear of being a failure. How can I not be forgotten? How can I not be a failure? Read Sirach 41:13.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 41 and verse 13. A good life hath but few days, but a good name.
A good life have but few days. So what are you doing with your time? You got a few days, and you really waking up every day, pushing it to the max. I had to start asking myself this: how can I make a ripple effect in this earth? Today, how can I make a ripple effect some way, shape, or form in this earth? Can I study more? Can I put out a class? Can I go to camp? Can I do a flyer mission? What can I do in my few days today? Read on.
A good life have but few days.
Read.
But a good name endureth forever.
And if you have a good name, that will endure forever. We still talking about Christ the Messiah. Proverbs 22:1. We still talking about the Acts of the Apostles. We still talking about the holy men of old: Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Habakkuk, Hosea. Right? We still talking about these names. These names are known throughout history. A good name endureth forever. Read.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 1.
Come on.
A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches.
Read.
And loving favor rather than silver and gold.
We have to put forth actions in the earth to make ripple effects. Something to be remembered for. What is that called? Works. As I typed it up so I wouldn't forget it. Something to be remembered for. Our works. James 2:18. Our works. We come into this body, you got the greatest knowledge on earth, and you don't share it with nobody. Or you come in and don't nobody really know you. You being forgotten. Some folks, I don't want to be forgotten. Hey, I come in, hey, shalom. My name Lavi. I believe in the truth. I found a video and I'm here. What's up? I showed up one day and never stopped coming. Yeah, they ain't gonna forget me. Like, where you come from? I just showed up one day, man. I just popped up out of nowhere. Hey, read that.
Yes, sir. The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 18.
This brother did the same thing. That's why he laughed. He just showed up one day. I ain't know this brother. He just popped up one day. I ain't stopped seeing him since. Every Saturday, I count on seeing this brother. If he ain't here, something wrong. Read that.
James chapter 2 and verse 18. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith.
We can say we got faith. We believe.
And I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works.
How you show me your faith? What did it say?
Show me thy faith.
Show me your faith.
Without thy works.
Without your works. Without works. Show me your faith without works. Read.
And I will show thee my faith.
I will show you my faith. How I really get down. My faith going to be seen.
By my works.
By my works. You know my faith by the work that I do. You know I believe this by the work that I put in. We see the bishops, the deacons. You know they got faith by the works that they put in constantly. Year after year. Decade after decade. 20 years strong, still going. 30 years strong, just pushing. Before all the purple and gold, before it really started, the spark still had the zeal. You seen the faith by the works. Certain spirits ain't gonna be forgotten in this earth. Read that it on that.
Yes, sir.
All right, go to Sirach 41. You gotta ask yourself, what do you want for your spirit? What do you want? For yourself to be seen as. Not no vainglory or nothing. Not no spirit of, hey, see what I did. But when you believe, it's going to be evident. When you got faith, hey, I believe with the Israelites. You can tell. I'm out there, hey, we the Israelites, change the way. You can tell certain brothers, they believe by their works. Right? Now, whether they got something going on behind the scenes, that's between them and the Lord. Lord's will is not like that. But that's why I say, every man's works will be made manifest. Read that. I mean, it's going to come out what you was really about. We're going to read about a few examples. 49 and start at 5.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 49:5.
The book of Sirach, chapter 49 and verse 5. Therefore, he gave their power unto others, and their glory to a strange nation. They burnt the chosen city.
Actually, 49 and 10 and read now.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. And of the 12 prophets, let the memorial be blessed.
Their memory be blessed. We just seen on the clip, I'm scared of failure, being forgotten. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be, unsuccessful. I don't want to be a bum, damn it. Read.
and let their bones flourish again out of their place.
I need you to read that strong, bro. Read verse 10 again.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. And of the 12 prophets.
And of the 12 prophets.
Let the memorial be blessed.
Read.
And let their bones flourish again.
Let their bones flourish again. Ha. They'll be back. Read.
Out of their place. For they comforted Jacob and believed them. By assured hope.
Read.
How shall we magnify Zerubbabel? Even he was a signet of the right hand.
He's being remembered. These are great men being remembered. Zerubbabel, Nehemiah. Read.
So was Jesus, the son of Josedek, who in their time builded the house and set up a holy temple to the Lord.
Joshua, read.
Which was prepared for everlasting glory. And among the elect was Nehemiah, whose renown is great.
Whose renown is great. He was famous. He was remembered. He wasn't going to be forgotten. His works showed his faith. Read.
Who raised up for us the walls that were fallen, and set up the gates and the bars.
Read.
And raised up our ruins again.
Come on, read.
But upon the earth was no man created like Enoch.
We reading about the memorial, the remembrance of these great men. Their works, their ripple effects that they did that made waves throughout the earth, throughout history, throughout time periods. Read.
For he was taken from the earth. Neither was there a man born like unto Joseph, a governor of his brethren, a stay of the people.
Come on.
Whose bones were regarded of the Lord.
Read.
Shem and Seth were in great honor among men.
We still reading about Shem, about Seth. That's where the term Shemitic come from. The sons of Shem. His name is still being used in the earth today. Great works, read.
And so was Adam above every living thing in the creation.
He was so great, it's still, Adam and Eve. Everybody know about Adam and Eve. All right, so from there, the point of reading that was to stir something up in us to say, hey, our forefathers were great men. They had a memorial of them. They had a remembrance of them left from the works they did. How renowned, famous, how great they were for righteousness' sake. For righteousness' sake of the Lord. All right, so from there, go to Proverbs 23:7. Internal fears. We talked about it. I want to play the clip again. 35 seconds. Internal fears. We are afraid of reaching our potential. We are afraid of greatness. As black people, we fail from being great. If you just watch the class that Bishop did, give me Lamentations 4. Called The Lamentations of Our People. I believe that's it. You got it. But, if you watch the Sabbath class, you know what I'm talking about. We fail from being great. Now we in this decayed state, Lamentations 4 verse 1. Now we in this decayed state, meaning broke down, destroyed. We straight Negroes. We have a fear of being great. We have a fear of taking back our greatness. Read.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 1.
Come on.
How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold that changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the tops of every street.
Read.
The precious sons of Zion.
That's it. The fine gold is the precious sons of Zion. The fine gold is the precious sons of Zion. Excuse me. How has the fine gold become dim? Read.
Comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers?
Now we on the bottom. Earthen pitchers meaning we just some ashy black devils. We sinful. We don't follow righteousness. We not an honorable people. We ghetto. We ratchet. We have failed from being great. Go back. Proverbs 23:7.
Yes, sir.
We are afraid of reaching our potential. Afraid of greatness. Why would we be afraid of greatness? Why would someone be afraid of greatness? They don't want to fail, but what it takes to be a great individual. That's why we're afraid of it. Because of what it takes to be a great individual. Discipline. It takes daily sacrifice. It takes daily always controlling yourself, your spirit, your mind, your thoughts. Our spirit has to be controlled. Our mind has to be governed. Our thoughts has to be restrained to what the Bible says. That takes work. Read that.
Yes, sir. The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he.
So we all hear that part. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. As you think what you are is what you will be. As you think what you are is what you will be. I want to look at that article about reaching potential. I want y'all to pull it up. But play that video one more time for the folks. I'm going to tell you when to stop and then work on finding that article on potential.
Anything. Oh, well, I don't like failing at anything.
Probably failure.
Disappointing my mom.
Not being successful.
Sucking at life.
Everyone's afraid to fail.
Not being happy.
Being stagnant. Being mediocre.
That's it. Being mediocre. Being stagnant. We fear these things. All right, so pull that article up about reaching potential. Let's look at that. I used to hear that. You got great potential, son. You got good potential. You might hear that growing up in school, in sports. But potential is something that you haven't really just tapped into yet. It's there, but it ain't came out yet. How to reach your full potential as your best authentic self. There it is. Pull it up for the folks. I'll tell you when to stop. Go ahead and read that.
How to reach your full potential as your best authentic self.
Come on down. I'm going to read that side part. Take your time and read it.
Do you think you've reached your full potential? Or do you feel you still have much more to achieve?
Question mark. Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. That's why they say self-improvement can't be measured. That's why in the self-development field, the self-development world, it's something it can't be measured. Therefore, it's always a thing. It's always a sales point. It's always a talking point. It's always a need for it. Self-improvement. Read.
There's no wrong answer here. So don't be scared by the question. The truth is that your full potential is a constantly moving target, one that gets further away as you progress toward it.
So meaning your goals should change. As you get closer to your goals, set some new goals so you can continue to grow. Read.
The better question to ask yourself might be, how can we continually expand our potential? How can we make ourselves so much more than we currently are and become closer to everything we could be?
That's a heavy statement. Hold up. I want to read that again. The better question to ask yourself might be, how can we continually expand our potential? How can we make ourselves so much more than we currently are and become closer to everything we could be? That's what this truth is about. Growing, being made perfect. Continue reading.
Sir. To help you answer these questions, I've created this guide which will help you define potential and provide you with a number of mechanisms for expanding it. Are you ready to discover how to reach your full potential and become the best version of your authentic self? Then let's get started.
Come on. I want to read this part too.
Defining your potential. You may have heard the phrase.
Scroll up. Y'all in there talking. We hear y'all. Y'all in there yapping. Scroll up. All right.
You may have heard the phrase, you're not living up to your full potential.
I think I heard that before. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I've heard that saying before. I don't know if I heard it towards me, but we've all heard that saying. You ain't living up to your full potential. You better than that. Why you acting like that? In black terms. Go ahead.
But what does that really mean? What is potential in a person? And how can we live up to it fully? Another way to ask this is, how much are we really capable of?
That's another way to ask it. How much are we really capable of? I had to ask myself that. How much am I really capable of? You got to ask yourself that. How much are you really capable of? Are you really fearful of being, unsuccessful? You scared of that? Well, what's going to happen if you don't do what it takes to be that? The opposite end effect. Pull it back up.
The potential of an individual is qualified by aspirations, combined with determination. To reach their potential, each individual must exist in aligned with their highest self and believe in their destiny for more.
Come on down. You got to take that to heart. You got to believe that. Come on down. We are so terrified right there.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
We are so terrified of failure, discomfort, and criticism that we write off our hopes and dreams before we can even dare to try.
A lot of folks deal with that, don't even know it. So terrified of failure. Discomfort, we terrified of discomfort. I don't want to be uncomfortable. And criticism, I don't want to be criticized. I don't want to come to the school and they tell me about what I got to work on. They tell me about my weight. They tell me about I got to get a better job. They tell me about I got to get my scheduling better, my timing better. They tell me I got to push and do things better. I'm doing my best. No, you're not. Have you asked yourself, could you do more? Have you asked yourself, did you really reach your full potential? What are you really capable of? What are the things that's holding you back? Is it scheduling? Is it planning? That's what's holding you back from reaching your full potential? Is it just you really scared of what you would look like if you was the best you could be? You scared of that. We scared of that because it takes work. Pull it back up. All right, I'm going to be wrapping it up with this.
Yes, sir. We may have sunk into a pattern of playing not to lose so much that we may have forgotten how to play to win.
We playing not to lose so much that we forgot how to play to win. Read.
And that's part of why we don't reach our full potential.
That's it right there.
We do forget.
That's it. All right, from there. Let's drop that. Go to, what did Christ tell us about potential? Matthew 5:48. What did Christ tell us about potential? Reaching our full potential. Because that's a fear. Believe it or not, that's a fear for some folks. Matthew 5:48. Not putting in their best effort, putting their best foot forward. It seemed like it would be redundant to say this, or, a cliche type of thing. Hey, you got to try your best, give your all. We say that, but we ain't really registering that. Because if you really tried your best, really gave your all, really tried to apply the commandments, hey, you might have a better relationship with your spouse. Hey, you might got a better situation and turning your life around and getting out of debt. Turning your life around and being more productive in the school. Turning your life around and getting your SH together. If you really tried it, read that, Matthew 5:48.
Yes, sir. The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 48. Be ye therefore perfect.
What did Christ tell us about potential?
Be ye therefore perfect.
Be perfect. Damn, how am I going to be perfect? Hold on, champ. Perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody perfect, damn it. Read it again.
Yes, sir. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
Christ ain't stutter. Genesis 17:1. He ain't stutter when he said that. Be ye therefore perfect. So reaching our full potential, we got to understand the Bible defines that for us. All right? That take planning. That take action. That take waking up on time. That take not hitting the snooze on your alarm. I know you're tired. Get on up. Get on up. Why? Because you got to have a productive day. You can't afford not to have a productive day. You can't afford not to stick to your routine a day. You can't afford to miss your workout. You can't afford not to sit down and study for an hour. You got to do it Tuesday, get yourself together Tuesday, because Thursday you got this going on, and it got to be done already. Planning, whatever it is in your life, you got to figure that out. Read that.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 17 and verse 1.
Come on.
And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God.
Read.
Walk before me and be thou perfect.
What did he say?
Walk before me and be thou perfect.
So Christ said in Matthew 5:48, again in Genesis 17:1, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. 1 Kings 8:61. This potential thing in the Bible then, huh? Yeah, God don't want no slackers. He don't want us slacking off. We slip, we fall, we get back up, we keep on pushing. Get better. Read.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 8 and verse 61.
Come on.
Let your heart Let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord our God. walk in his statutes, and to keep his commandments as at this day.
That's how we be perfect. Let your heart be perfect with the Lord our God, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments. That's how we be perfect. We're going to skip to 1 Peter 2:21. And y'all get the that video clip up. Yep, what y'all got right there. 1 Peter 2:21. I get that right there.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 21.
Come on.
For even hereunto ye were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us.
So we were called into this truth. We were called into this gospel. Read.
Leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
Read.
Who did not sin.
Who did no sin. Read it again.
Who did no sin. Neither was guile found in his mouth.
So Christ left us the example. He was perfect. He told us to walk and be ye therefore perfect. He left us the example. Give me that video right there. Finna wrap it up. We scared though. We scared to lose that weight. We scared to go ahead and wake up in the morning and go walking. Cause we scared to take that fast. Yeah, I'm hungry. I gotta eat. I need that food. I'm craving it. I'm talking about myself too. I need to fast more. Some brothers need to lose weight. Some brothers need to go ahead and just say, you know what? I'm a mean ass husband. I'm damn near the ball. I'm scared to be right with my wife. I might actually like her. Sister, I'm scared to be submissive. I might actually want to be a woman. I don't know how to be a woman. I'm scared to bow down to him. All subjection? Play that.
A lot of people are scared, right? They don't act because they're scared. But I would ask yourself another question, because usually people is like, oh, I'm scared if I do this, this is what's gonna happen. But then reframe that question, and you're still using the power of questions. Ask yourself, what will happen if you don't do this? Because then you use that fear in something that can be help
stop.
you.
I watched a few of his videos. He's like a brain coach or something. He really do good on remembering stuff. Play it again. Go back a few seconds. He said, well, what'll happen if I don't do this? Play it again from the beginning. I don't want the folks to miss this at home. You're watching. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention.
A lot of people are scared, right? They don't act because they're scared.
They don't act because they're scared. But I would ask you yourself another question.
Another question, because usually people is like, oh, I'm scared if I do this, this is what's going to happen. But then reframe that question, and you're still using the power.
I'm scared of what's going to happen if I do, give my all. I'm scared of what's going to happen. I don't want to be uncomfortable and getting outside of my comfort zone. Play. Ask yourself this flip question. Ask yourself this flip question.
What will happen if you don't do this?
What's going to happen if you don't apply these commandments? What's going to happen if you don't apply that exercise diet? What's going to happen if you don't apply fasting? What's going to happen if you don't listen to your doctor and get your health right? What's going to happen if you don't? Your ass might end up dead. What's going to happen if you don't get yourself right? What's going to happen if you don't work on your marriage? Your kids going to grow up messed up. Your kids going to grow up. What's going to happen if you say, to myself, you know what? I don't want to get this right. I want to stay a devil. You finna have a domino effect of sin in your household. I don't know what's going on. I'm not talking about nobody in particular. It's for all of us, myself included. What's going to happen if I don't want to make the peace or keep the unity? What's going to happen if I don't wake up on time and take my behind to work? Your black behind going to get fired. You know the consequence of that. If you don't wake up and go to work, you're going to get fired. So, same thing. What's going to happen if I don't apply this right here in my life? Whatever it is, we got to apply. Whatever it is, you got to apply. Whatever it is, I got to apply. What's going to happen if I don't apply this? Christ's going to kill my nasty black behind. That's what's going to happen ultimately. If I don't apply this and get this right, Christ's going to kill me. That's why I'm here. I don't want to die. I want to give my best. I don't want to die. So when I have a slip in my mind of you getting fearful or you sulking or you getting in your emotions, you got to shake that. What's going to happen if I don't get this right? That's the question. All right? So from there, I want to go to back to the first video. Go to timestamp 140. 140.
Being someone that I love.
What are you most afraid of? Other than commitment,
Thinking about kids and marriage, it all scares me.
Anything bad happening to
Stop.
my daughter.
Okay, losing your kids. She said marriage. I want to touch in on that. Go to them other videos I got. The shorts with the.
I think also it's easy to fear marriage because we've made it a personal goal and not a God-ordained thing. When you talking about like matrimony, when you talking about my assigned partner, ain't to be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? Like, are there gonna be moments where we have our tough times and things like that? Of course, but I was covered before you got here. This is much larger than me. There's a much larger assignment that our parent is supposed to complete. You feel me? So when we talking about, just be scared because they want to.
It's a much larger assignment that our pairing, us coming together, is supposed to complete. A lot of us, a lot of women is scared of marriage, is scared of commitment. Brothers too. Brothers got a lot to lose and get married. Play the next video.
Most irrational fear you have?
Yeah, that and
what?
Arranged marriage.
Shit.
He said, what fear you have? He said, arranged marriage. Don't find my partner. Don't find my spouse. Arranged marriage. That's what them Arabs be doing, though. Go to the next one.
It's just a little bit hard to make a decision when we've already set the date and the whole day is planned and I've even got the ring, so I'm not sure what to do.
Khadija, I'm just reminding you that the purpose of marriage is not the wedding, not the white dress, not the diamond ring. The purpose of marriage is to find that peace Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran.
Now, obviously, they're talking about Muslims, so they're saying Allah. But what she's saying, Lord's will, sisters learn this in Titus 2. Learn this from the Bible. It ain't about the wedding day. It ain't about the quote-unquote the dress. It ain't about, okay, the pictures you're going to take and post on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever you posted them just to get 1,000 likes. Oh, look at us, but you don't respect your man. It ain't about that. So don't get caught up on she said Allah and this and that. You know, that. Look at what she's saying, and that is biblical. It ain't about the wedding day. Play it.
So you find peace. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. So the purpose of marriage is to find this peace and also to have children, to have grandchildren. Allah mentioned that in the Quran. وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَزْوَاجِكُم بَنِينَ وَحَفَدًا. So He created from you and your spouses, children and grandchildren. If you look at that big picture.
Look at the big picture. Look at the big picture. Why you get married. Why we come together. Play.
Marriage definitely is not about one night. It's a whole journey on planet Earth.
It's a whole nother nation, a whole nother race. I mean, she's obviously older and she's dealing with a younger woman. And that's usually how I go. It takes that aged woman to have experience and understand that. A whole different culture now, yes. I'm not saying, be Muslim or none of that. I'm not saying that. Yeah, we're going to get him next. Give me Tobit 8 and 7.
Yes, sir.
The point is that experience teaches that. She learned that the wedding is not about one night. It's about a journey you finna take with this person, bring forth children, grow in righteousness. A strong nation, Bishop brought this out. He did a class on it a while back. You remember that? A strong nation. Strong families create a strong nation. I think that's how I go. Read that.
Sir. The book of Tobit, chapter 8 and verse 7.
The girl say, I'm scared of commitment. I ain't finna be subjection every day. Not every day. Maybe on a Sabbath, but not every day, damn it. Play that. Read that.
Yes, sir. And now, O Lord, I take not this, my sister, for lust.
So he said, I take not this, my sister, for lust. This when Tobias and Sarah was coming together. Read.
But uprightly.
Uprightly meaning in order. Uprightly meaning done the right way. Now, if brothers and sisters done it the wrong way, you just made it harder for yourself. And you just got to work even harder to apply the scriptures. Period. If you don't, you point at yourself. But if you want to make it work, y'all both want to make it work, apply what the Bible says. Period. Read. Uprightly.
Therefore, mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
A journey, like she said, together. A journey on planet Earth. She said a journey on planet Earth. But the Bible is saying age together, meaning you live a long life together. Not about just one night. one thing one day, all right, it's an honorable thing. Hebrews 13:4. Hebrews 13:4. No, 1 Timothy 5:14 first. 1 Timothy 5:14. Then we're going to play that. The angry man. I like the angry man. You seen him before?
Yes, sir.
All praises. Go ahead.
So the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 14.
Come on.
I will therefore that the younger women marry.
What's the will of God? I
will therefore that the younger women marry.
So a lot of women like, no, I don't want that. That ain't what's God's will. Lord will be done. Lord willing. Lord, let your will be done. Okay, read his will.
I will therefore that the young women marry, bear children.
What?
Bear children.
Read.
Guide the house. Give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully.
So that's what God's will is for the woman. Now, certain sisters come in. I mean, you just been through a lot. Maybe you just had a high count, a lot of partners. You might just got to wait. You might just not be good for a pair right now. You just better be in here keeping the commandments and being real. The Power Hour Plus, shout out to Deacon Joshua and the brothers down there, the officers down there. They go over great topics on a marriage segment. So if you got a, high count, sister, you probably can't. It's going to be very, very hard. So you might want to get a lot of counsel and follow a lot of counsel. Get a lot of advice from elder women and brothers and sisters that's married, the leadership, and follow counsel. But for sisters who scared of marriage just because they don't want to follow no man, right? For sisters who scared of marriage just because they don't want to be submissive, you just out the spirit. Your spirit ain't right. You're going to die when Christ come back if you don't change that. Your spirit ain't right, and you're going to die when Christ come back if you don't change that. I don't want to get married. I don't want nobody to tell me what to do. I don't want no man ruling over me. I'm scared of commitment. Sister proved 4 different brothers don't want to get married. Something wrong with that. She's scared of commitment. She don't want to bow down. She don't want to be in all subjection. Only on the Sabbath day she want to be in subjection. Only on the Sabbath. That's the holy day. All right. Read on.
Yes, sir. Verse 15.
No, I mean, is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go to Hebrews 13:4. And we're going to play that clip.
Yes, sir. The book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4.
Come on.
Marriage is honorable in all.
It's an honorable thing. Don't be scared of commitment. If you really believe in God, you got to follow on that, like Abigail did with Nabal. Read.
And the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge.
Romans 8:16, before we get that clip. Romans 8:16. If we really believe this, Romans 8:16, I think that's what I want. Let me get it. It might be 18. It might be 28. Hold on. I ain't read it in a while. 8:28.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 28.
So what? All right, so the fear of this might be, brother might say, well, I don't want to get married. My wife might cheat on me. Well, oh well, divorce her. It's going to be hard. Accept it and let the hoe go. I'm going to say it plainly. It's hard to hear sisters be like, well, I ain't this and that. Why you saying that? The Bible said, if she cheat on you, let the hoe go. Let her go. All right, sister, you might say, well, I don't want to get married. He might cheat on me. The brothers ain't righteous. Well, sis, you got to believe in God. If he cheats on you, God going to put him to death and you'll get a new one in the kingdom. Now, don't be hoping for that. Don't be hoping now. I hope God kill his nasty ass. Don't do that, sis. That's the right spirit. Remember, the Bible say, love your neighbor as yourself. We got to want to see our spouse do right and genuinely want that. Not in the spirit of, hatred, because that's murder. I can't wait till he mess up. Or I can't wait till the Lord come back. Lord gonna kill him. He ain't gonna forgive him. You thinking like that? If we thinking like that, we out the spirit. Brother be like, damn, I hope my wife commit adultery. I hope she end up kissing somebody. I'm gonna divorce her ass and she gone. Bro, you should not want that. You should want her to be a righteous woman. But if she happen to do such thing, kick her ass to the curb. All right? Read it.
Yes, sir. The book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the calling, who are the called according to the.
Hold up, bro. You all right?
Yeah.
You straight?
Yeah. Let me redo that.
Yeah, do that over for me, bro. Yeah, do that over, bro. I think I said something a little too harsh for him. That was too much?
No.
Kick your ass to the curb, bro. You ain't married yet. You go to prove now. You better watch it.
Yeah.
All praises. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 28. And we know that all things work together.
So we know if we believe this, like having that faith, having that understanding, all things work together. Whether it's we think it's bad, but no, it ain't bad. We gotta say, you know what? All praise to the Most High. Whatever we go through, I myself gotta understand this. Take this to heart. Whatever we go through, we gotta say, you know what? All praise to the Most High. You know what? I know an officer, he always say that. Hey, man, I got stung by a bee. He'll say, all praise to the Most High. Hey, man, I got into a car wreck. All praise to the Most High. What the hell? My wife cheated on me. All praise to the Most High. What the hell? But we got to be like that. Why? Because we don't trust in man. We trust in God. We trust in the Lord. Whatever happens, it's of the Lord. If me and my spouse stay together, all praise to the Most High. It worked out. It's of the Lord. If we don't stay together, all praise to the Most High. It's of the Lord. We don't want that to happen, but we got to look at it through this scripture. Have our eyes and mind focused on what this word says. Read it again.
Yes, sir. And we know that all things work together for good to them that
What is that?
love.
What is that? What is that? What is that? Try it again.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
That's what we got to understand. All things work good for those who love God. Play that clip. If you love God, things going to work out for you. It's hard to hear that when you're going through something. It's hard to hear that when you're going through hell. You facing a hard fear. And it's hard to hear that through a hard time. But we got to believe it. Yet, we must believe it. Our salvation depends upon it. Play.
Question. You ever hear women ask, why don't men want to get married anymore?
Is it just me, or you be talking to somebody or even dating somebody, right? And be so in love, like just love this motherfucker. See absolutely no wrong in them, just love them. Then one day you just like, I don't like you no more. We could be having a good day. And I just be like, I don't like you no more. I don't like the person you are. I don't like the way you move. I don't like the way you think. I just don't like you. So I want to leave. Just like that. Like, I want to go. I don't want to talk anymore. Is that just me?
Bruh. That's the American mindset. That's why I said brothers don't want to get married anymore, because you got sisters like that. The modern sister like that. Not these righteous sisters up in here. Hopefully not. I don't like you no more. I just don't love him no more. I ain't feeling the same. The love is gone. The thrill is gone. That's the old BB King song. You don't know about that, youngster. I'm young. I know about it. I'm just talking noise. The thrill is gone. My grandpa used to say that. The thrill is gone, son. The thrill is gone. That's a BB King song. He from Mississippi. Anyway, I digress. We ain't trying to get married because folks be doing stuff like that. We get married. I don't love him no more. What? You was in love on the wedding day. We was together. We was all in. We was there. We was doing our thing. I just feel different. Bruh. All right, that's the last clip. Let's play that last clip. We're going to close it out with this right here. It's a good movie. I believe, you know, it's a good movie for those who haven't watched it to watch. Coach Carter. Yep, I'm going back on you.
Sir, they can cut the chain off the door, but they can't make us play.
Skip ahead. Well, let's let it play. Let it play. Well, no, skip ahead a little bit. I want to go ahead and skip ahead to the part where Cruz stand up and give his speech. All right, go back. Right there. Our deepest fear.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
Thank you. You turned it up. You in the spirit in there. I want to stop right there. Let's start it over. I want the people to get this. If you've seen it, you know. This is a powerful clip. It's one of them things that hit home with me. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Listen to what the brother's saying, man. I wanted this scene because it's a powerful scene. Play it. Turn it up for the folks.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you.
Your playing small does not enlighten the world. You playing small when you ain't trying to be the best version of yourself. We playing small when we ain't trying to be the best we can be. They don't help the world out, bruh. Play.
We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Stop. We let our light shine. Give me the light. You know what I want? Y'all got them images? What I asked for earlier? Pull them up. He say, when we let our light shine, we unconsciously liberate others. We have seen that. I hope y'all understanding. We unconsciously liberate others. Pull it up. I'm correlating to the movie, but when we let our light shine, read that and pull that picture up. Read that. Yes.
Yes, sir. The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 14.
Come on.
Ye are the light of the world.
We are the light of the world.
A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
Come on.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel.
When we let our light shine, we don't put it under a bushel. We let it shine. We trying to be seen. Not to the point of vainglory, but hey, we changing our lives. We keeping the commandments. We walking in righteousness. We know we the Israelites. We rising up. Pull it back up. Read.
But on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men.
Let your light shine before men. The light is the commandments. Pull it up, that one right there. Let it shine before men. That's what we doing when we go out. That's what we doing when we unconsciously liberate others, as he said in the quote. We unconsciously empower others to let their light shine. And let their light shine mean what? Be righteous. Drop the nigga mindset. When we walk out there, uniform, in order, structured, unity, unified, we unconsciously liberate our people. That's the power of imagery. That's what we instilling in our people's minds. You got some more?
Yes.
Read. Is that on it? That's it?
No, sir.
Read.
That they may see your good works.
That they may see our good works.
And glorify your Father which is in heaven.
That's what we got to do. Is there any more images y'all got? I want to see them. Any more images y'all got? That's what we got to do. We unconsciously liberate others. It's not our, what he said, our fear, our deepest fear is, I want to hear the quote again. I want to hear it again. Facing our fears in the hardest of times. It's time. It's time to face that fear of whatever you got to overcome. Your weight, your health, your marriage, your children, your job, your whatever it is, your insecurities, your lack of not seeing yourself being successful in this walk, being productive in this walk. It's time to face those fears head on. Go ahead.
Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Because we are powerful when we keep the commandments. It's our light, play.
Not our darkness that most frightens us.
It's, oh, that's heavy.
Your plan.
Give me that in Ephesians 5. It's our light, not the darkness that frightens us. He said in the quote, we scared of the light. It's easy to be in sin. We rather do that. We ain't scared of the sin. It's our light. Play it again. I want to hear that part.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
Stop. Ephesians chapter 5,
Your playing
verse
small
8.
does not serve the world. There is.
It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Ephesians 5 and 8.
Yes, sir. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 8. For ye were sometimes darkness.
For ye were sometimes darkness.
But now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light.
We was once in wickedness, now we must walk in the light. Give me the light. We're going to wrap it up. We was once in wickedness, now we must walk in the light. Don't be scared to change. A lot of folks scared of seeing their best version of themselves. We can't be scared of that. It's easy to revert back to the nigga man, to the nigga woman. It's easy to do that. No, drop that. Because if we don't, like it's the other guy said in the other clip, if we don't do the opposite effect, well, what's going to happen if we don't change? Well, we're going to die. Our soul going to be eternally damned. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
Read it strong, bro.
For the commandment is a lamp.
The commandment is a lamp.
And the law is light.
The law is the light that we got to let shine. Unity, righteous households, righteous families, righteous brothers and sisters coexisting with each other in harmony without any drama, no murmuring, no backbiting, no deceit, no adultery, no fornication. That's the darkness. But the light is the opposite effect. All right, let's play the clip and go close out with that.
Enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Stop. Put me the pictures up of us marching. Our presence automatically liberates others. That's it. That's our presence liberating others. When we do that, we automatically sending shock waves throughout the earth. Not that one, bro. I want the other one. That one. That's it. We automatically liberate others. Let's face any fears that we facing, any things that we dealing with, any demons, anything we got to overcome, face them. All right? So y'all can take it down. With that, shalom.
What is the nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community.